Captain June Kim stood on the roof of the Seoul Military Intelligence Building, watching the huge alien ship that hung in the sky. It was day 3 since the Valorans had arrived. 3 days of fear, confusion, and desperate planning. The ship was like nothing humans had ever built. It was long and curved, almost like a giant leaf made of metal. It seemed to float without any visible engines. Smaller ships came and went from it throughout the day. "Sir, they're sending another message," said Lieutenant Hyun, who stood beside him. She held a tablet that showed a video feed from the United Nations meeting in New York. On the screen, the alien who called himself Ambassador Kree was speaking to Earth's leaders. He looked almost human, except for his purple skin and eyes that were too large. He wore what seemed to be a uniform with strange symbols on the chest. "The Galactic Coalition includes 53 species from across the stars," Kree was saying. His mouth moved strangely with the human words. "We offer Earth the chance to join us, to benefit from our knowledge and protection." "And if we refuse?" asked one of the human leaders. Kree's large eyes blinked slowly. "That would be unfortunate. The Coalition requires the resources on this planet. We prefer to work with willing partners, but we will take what we need if necessary." Captain Kim turned away from the screen. "They're not here for friendship," he said. "They're here to conquer us." Back in his office, Kim met with his small team. There was Lieutenant Hyun, who specialized in communications. Dr. Minji Park was their top scientist. And Sergeant Lee handled security. "What do we know about their weapons?" Kim asked. Dr. Park pulled up images on the main screen. "They've shown us some of their technology. Energy weapons, force fields, ships that can travel, faster than light. They're centuries ahead of us. Can we fight them?" asked Sergeant Lee. "Not directly," said Dr. Park. "But there's something strange going on. We've been monitoring their communications. They seem confused about something." Lieutenant Hyun nodded. "I've noticed the same thing in their messages. They keep running tests and discussing the results. Something isn't going as they expected." "What kind of tests?" asked Kim. "We don't know exactly," said Dr. Park. "But they mention something called neural disruptors frequently. It seems to be their main weapon for conquering planets." "And these weapons aren't working as expected?" asked Kim. "That's what it looks like," said Lieutenant Hyun. "They've asked for meetings with humans from different parts of the world. Each time they bring small devices, but afterward they seem frustrated." Kim thought for a moment. "We need to know more about these weapons. If they have a weakness, we need to find it before they force their offer on us." Later that day, Kim received a coded message from a contact in the Korean delegation that had met with the aliens. The message was brief, but important. The aliens had tested some kind of device on the delegation. It had made a strange sound, but nothing else happened. The aliens had seemed very surprised by this. Kim shared this information with his team. "They're testing weapons on our people," he said angrily. "Weapons that don't seem to work." "Actually, this is good news," said Dr. Park. "If their standard weapons don't affect humans, it gives us a chance to learn more before they try other methods." "We have 4 days until they want an answer from Earth's leaders," said Lieutenant Hyun. 4 days to figure out what's happening and make a plan. "Lieutenant, keep monitoring their communications," ordered Kim. "Dr. Park, I want you to analyze everything we know about these neural disruptors. Sergeant Lee, increase security around this building. I don't want any alien visitors surprising us." That night, while most of the city tried to sleep under the shadow of the alien ship, Captain Kim and Dr. Park worked late in the lab. Dr. Park had been studying the readings from various sensors during the aliens' weapon tests. "I think I understand what's happening," she said, showing Kim a comparison of brain scans. "These are human brains, and these are scans of the Valoran Ambassador Kree that we managed to take during his speech." The images looked very different. The human brains showed patterns of activity that spread across the entire organ. The Valoran brain had activity concentrated in specific areas. Their neural disruptors target specific brain pathways, explained Dr. Park. pathways that all coalition species seem to share. But human brains are organized differently. The weapons simply don't affect us the same way. You mean we're immune? Asked Kim. It seems that way, said Dr. Park. Their main weapon for controlling populations doesn't work on humans. How sure are you about this? I need more data, admitted Dr. Park. But based on their communications and the tests they've been running, they're clearly confused about why their standard approach isn't working. The next morning, more alien ships appeared in the sky over major cities around the world. The message from Ambassador Kree became more direct. The coalition had decided that Earth would join them, willing or not. Humans had 3 days to prepare for their new place in the galactic community. World leaders argued about how to respond. Some wanted to fight, despite the aliens' advanced technology. Others wanted to surrender, hoping for good treatment. Captain Kim had a different idea. He called an emergency meeting with not just his team but also representatives from military and intelligence agencies from several allied countries. The aliens have a weakness, he told the gathered group. Their main conquest weapons, these neural disruptors, don't work on humans. Our brains are different from any species they've encountered before. How does that help us? Asked a general from America. They still have ships and energy weapons that can destroy our cities. True, said Kim. But if they wanted to simply destroy us, they would have done it already. They want Earth mostly intact, and they expect a quick surrender once they use their neural weapons. We need to buy time, added Dr. Park. Their communications show they're waiting for reinforcements with different weapons, but those ships are still far away. What do you suggest, Captain? Asked a colonel from Japan. We pretend to negotiate, said Kim. Make them think we're close to surrendering. Meanwhile, we prepare our own surprise. Dr. Park believes we can reverse engineer some of the alien technology we've observed. Not to match their power, but to disrupt their communications and systems temporarily. And then what? Asked the American general. Then we show them that conquering Earth will cost more than it's worth, said Kim. We may not be able to win a direct war, but we can make occupations so difficult that they'll have to negotiate real terms with us. As the meeting ended and plans were made, Captain Kim looked out the window at the alien ship. Humanity faced its greatest challenge. But for the first time since the ships appeared, they had hope. Their unique biology had given them a chance that no other species had gotten before. The aliens had conquered 53 worlds with their neural disruption technology. Earth would be the first to resist successfully, if Kim's plan worked. Outside, the alien ship still hung in the sky, waiting for humanity's surrender. They had no idea what was coming. 3 months had passed since the alien ships first appeared in Earth's skies. The Valorans had made good on their threat when humans refused to join their galactic coalition. Now, their tall ships stood like metal trees in every major city on Earth. June Kim, once a captain but now called general by the resistance, looked out from the small window of the underground bunker. Above him, the ruins of Busan University stood as a reminder of the first battle. The university had been one of the first places to fight back against the aliens. Now it was just broken walls and fallen stones. General, Dr. Park is ready with her report, said Hyun, who had followed Kim from their military days into the resistance. Kim nodded and moved away from the window. The underground bunker had once been used for science tests. Now it was home to 37 resistance fighters and the best hope humanity had. The main room of the bunker was filled with computers and machines taken from alien ships. Some still had burn marks from where they had been cut out. Maps covered the walls, showing alien bases with red circles and human hideouts with blue dots. Dr. Minji Park stood at the center table. Her hands were stained with the purple blood of the aliens. She had been studying them since the first one was killed 3 months ago. I've confirmed my earlier findings, she said when Kim entered. The coalition species all share a specific brain pattern. Their weapons target that pattern to knock out their enemies without killing them. And we don't have this pattern? Asked Kim. No. Humans evolved on Earth without any contact with the rest of the galaxy. Our brains developed differently. Their stun weapons have no effect on us at all. This was the strange luck that had given humans a fighting chance. When the Valorans realized their favorite weapons didn't work, they had to use more basic weapons like guns and bombs. They had those weapons, but they didn't have many. The Valorans hadn't needed to make many regular weapons because their stun technology had always worked before. That's how we've been able to fight back, said Kim. But they're making more regular weapons now. We need a better plan. A young man stepped forward. He was Dai, Dr. Park's best student and the team's top engineer. He held what looked like an alien gun, but with human parts added to it. I think I've found a way to use their stun weapons against them, Dai said. I've changed this one to make the stun effect stronger. It still won't hurt humans, but it will knock out a Valoran for about an hour. Kim took the weapon and looked at it carefully. You're sure it works? We tested it on the prisoner, said Dr. Park. He's still unconscious. Kim nodded. The prisoner was a Valoran soldier they had captured last week. They didn't like keeping him, but they needed to learn more about the aliens. If we can make more of these, we can arm all our resistance cells, Kim said. How many can you make, Dai? With the parts we have, maybe 20. But if we can get more alien weapons, then we'll get more, Kim decided. Hyun, get the team ready. Tonight we raid the alien base at the old port. As Hyun left to prepare the fighters, a woman entered the room. She was Soo-jin, leader of the scout team. Her clothes were dirty and torn from crawling through the broken city. General, the aliens are moving something big into the city, she reported. 5 transport ships landed an hour ago. They're unloading large metal boxes into the main base. More weapons? Asked Dr. Park. I don't think so, said Soo-jin. The boxes are too big and they're handling them very carefully, almost like they're afraid to drop them. Kim looked at the map on the wall. The alien main base had been built where City Hall once stood. It was heavily guarded, but the resistance had been watching it closely. We need to find out what's in those boxes, he said. Soo-jin, take Dai and 2 others. Get close enough to scan the boxes if you can. Don't take any risks. Soo-jin nodded. She picked 2 of her best scouts and motioned for Dai to follow her. The young engineer grabbed his scanning tools and a small backpack. Be back before dark, Kim told them. We still raid the port tonight. As the scout team left, Dr. Park moved closer to Kim. The prisoner said something interesting today, she told him quietly. He said the Valorans have never failed to conquer a planet before. Their leaders don't know what to do about us. Good, said Kim. Let them be confused. It gives us time. There's more, said Dr. Park. He said the coalition needs Earth for some special reason. Something about rare minerals they can't find anywhere else. That's why they came with so many ships. Kim thought about this. So they won't just give up and leave. They need what's here. Yes, but there's a chance, Dr. Park said. If we can make them think conquering Earth will cost too much, they might offer better terms. Maybe even leave us alone if we give them some mining rights. Kim shook his head. They killed millions of people in the first attack. They don't get to make deals now. Later that day, as the sun began to set, Soo-jin's team returned. They looked worried. We got close to the boxes, Soo-jin reported. Dai scanned them. You need to see this. Dai connected his scanner to the main computer. Images appeared on the screen, showing the insides of the alien boxes. Those are prison cells, said Dr. Park, looking at the strange containers with chains and locks inside. Yes, said Dai, but they're not made for humans. He zoomed in on the image. These are designed for Valorans and other coalition species. They're building a prison for their own kind. Kim looked at the images with surprise. Why would they need a prison for their own soldiers? Not for soldiers, said Soo-jin. We saw some Valorans being put into the cells. They didn't look like soldiers. Their clothes were different, and the guards were rough with them. Dr. Park's eyes widened. The prisoner mentioned something about this. He said not all Valorans agree with the war. Some think humans should be left alone or offered real alliance. So they're imprisoning their own people who disagree, said Kim. That means the coalition isn't as united as they want us to think. He turned to look at the maps again. This changes our plan. We still raid the port tonight for weapons, but our next target will be that prison. If there are Valorans who don't support this war, we need to talk to them. Hyun entered the room. The team is ready, General. 20 fighters, all with our best weapons. Kim nodded. Good. Let's go. He turned to Dr. Park and Day. While we're gone, learn everything you can about those prison cells. We need to know how to open them without setting off alarms. As Kim and his fighters prepared to leave the bunker, he felt a small hope growing. Humans were not only immune to alien weapons, but now they had found possible allies among the aliens themselves. The war was far from over, but for the first time Kim could see a path to victory. The resistance fighters moved silently through the dark tunnels, ready to strike another blow against the invaders who had thought Earth would be an easy conquest. They were about to learn once again how wrong they were. Supreme Commander Vex stood by the large window of his command ship. From high above Earth, he could see the blue and green planet turning slowly. It looked peaceful from space. But Vex knew the truth. 6 months into what should have been a simple conquest, the coalition forces were facing a problem they had never seen before. Vex was old, even for a Valoran. In 500 years of military service, he had helped bring 12 planets into the coalition. Each time the plan had been the same: show up with big ships, demonstrate power, use the special stun weapons, and watch the natives give up. It always worked that way. Until Earth. Commander, the daily report is ready, said his assistant. A younger Valoran named Kren.Vex turned from the window. Tell me the bad news first. Kren looked down at his datapad. We lost another supply base. The humans attacked at night, took all the weapons and food, and left. They used our own stun guns against us. How many of our soldiers were killed? Asked Vex. None, Commander. The humans only used stun weapons. All our soldiers woke up after an hour, but the humans and our supplies were gone. Vex walked to the large map table at the center of the room. It showed all of Earth with red dots showing coalition bases and blue areas, showing where humans still controlled the land. There was too much blue on the map. This makes no sense, Vex said. We have better technology. We have more ships. We have fought wars across the galaxy. How can these humans resist us so well? It's the neural disruptors, sir, said Kren. Our main weapons don't work on them. We've had to use conventional weapons, and we didn't bring many. We've made more, said Vex. Yes, but the humans keep stealing them from us, Kren replied. And they learn so fast. They've already figured out how to use our own technology against us. Vex hit the table with his fist, making the map flicker. The Coalition Council wants progress. The mining operations need to expand. The minerals on this planet are too valuable. There's something else, Commander, said Kren. He seemed nervous. The prisoner camp near their city called Seoul. There was an attack last night. Vex looked up sharply. What happened? The humans broke in. They freed all the prisoners. All of them? Vex felt a cold feeling in his stomach. Even the coalition members who were talking about peace? Yes, sir. All 37 of them. The humans took them away. We've had no communication from them since. This was the worst news possible. Those prisoners weren't just any coalition members. They were officials and scientists who had spoken against the invasion of Earth. Vex had ordered them locked up to keep their ideas from spreading. The council can't know about this, Vex said. If they find out humans are talking to peace supporters from our side. Sir, there's more, Kren said. We've lost contact with the main mining operation in the area they call Australia. Vex walked quickly back to the window. He needed to think. The coalition had come to Earth for its rare minerals. The planet had elements that were hard to find anywhere else in the galaxy. Elements needed for the most advanced technology. If they lost the mines, the whole mission would fail. Send 3 more ships to the Australia base, he ordered. And double the guards at all mining sites. Sir, we don't have 3 ships to spare, said Kren. The humans have damaged 4 of our ships already. It will take months to repair them. Vex closed his eyes. This was not how invasions were supposed to go. On the other side of the world, Sujin led her team carefully through the forest. Behind her walked 5 humans and 2 Valorans. The aliens looked nervous, their purple skin turning darker with stress. "We're almost there," Sujin told them. "The base is just over that hill." One of the Valorans, a female scientist named Mila, spoke up. "Your leader, General Kim, he promised we would not be harmed. But how can your people trust us? We are the invaders." "Not all of you," said Sujin. "You were prisoners because you spoke against the war. That makes you different." The other Valoran, a male diplomat called Tarn, looked around at the Earth forest. "Your planet is beautiful, so different from our worlds. I tried to tell the Council that we should trade with humans, not conquer them." "You'll get to tell that to General Kim soon," said Sujin. "But first, we need your help getting into this base." The base ahead was one of the largest coalition mining operations. It was built in what used to be a human mine, but the aliens had made it much bigger. They were digging deep into the earth, taking out rare minerals to send to their home worlds. Sujin's team reached the edge of the forest. From there, they could see the base clearly. Large machines moved earth and rock. Alien workers carried containers of shining metals. Guards walked around with weapons, watching for trouble. "There are at least 50 guards," said Jin, one of Sujin's human teammates. "Too many for us to fight." "We're not here to fight," said Sujin. "We're here for information." She turned to the two Valorans. "Can you get us in?" Mila looked at the base. "The guards will recognize us. We can say we escaped from human captivity. That should get us inside." "But what about your human friends?" asked Tarn. "They cannot come with us." Sujin smiled and held up a small device that Day had made. "This will help us look like Valorans. It bends light around us. It only works for a short time, but it should be enough to get us inside." Jin looked doubtful. "And once we're inside, what's the plan then?" "We need to know what they're mining and how important it is to them," said Sujin. "That information will help General Kim plan our next move." Back at the resistance bunker, General Kim met with Dr. Park and Day. On the table between them lay a strange alien device. "The Valorans call it a universal translator," said Dr. Park. "The ones we freed gave it to us as a sign of trust. It can translate any coalition language." "It does more than that," said Day, who had been studying the device. "It connects to the coalition's information network. We can use it to learn all about their technology, their plans, even their homeworlds." "Can they track it?" asked Kim. "Will they know we're using it?" "No," said Day. "I've modified it. They can't see us, but we can see everything they share among themselves." Kim picked up the device. It was small, about the size of his hand, with a screen that showed strange symbols. "I've been reading their military reports," said Dr. Park. "They're running out of conventional weapons. The weapons that don't work on us, the neural disruptors, are all they usually make. They never needed anything else before." "That gives us an advantage," said Kim. "But they'll make more weapons eventually. We need to act before they do." "There's something else," Day added. "The Valoran called Tarn told me about the Coalition, Council. They're the ones who ordered this invasion. But some council members didn't agree. They thought Earth should be invited to join the Coalition as equals." "Why would they want that?" asked Kim. "Because humans are different," said Dr. Park. "All other species in the Coalition are related somehow. They all evolved from the same original species that spread across the galaxy millions of years ago. But humans evolved separately on Earth. That makes us unique. And our brains work differently," added Day. "That's why their stun weapons don't affect us. But it also means we can think in ways they can't. Solve problems they can't solve." Kim thought about this. "So we're valuable to them. Not just our planet, but our people too." "Exactly," said Dr. Park. "The peace supporters in the Coalition want to work with us, learn from us. But the military leaders just want our resources." Resistance fighter ran into the room. "General, Sujin's team is back from the mining base and they've brought something important." Sujin entered, looking tired but excited. With her were Jin and the two Valorans, Mila and Tarn. "We found out what they're mining," Sujin reported. "Show them, Mila." The female Valoran held out a small container. Inside was a blue crystal that glowed with its own light. "This is beryllium," Mila explained. "It's the rarest element in the HFY known galaxy. On Earth, you have more of it than all other coalition worlds combined." "What's it used for?" asked Kim. "Everything," said Tarn. "Our most advanced technology needs it. Starship engines, long-range communicators, even the neural disruptors that don't work on humans." "The Coalition is desperate for this material," added Mila. "That's the real reason they invaded Earth. Without beryllium, their technology will start to fail within a few years." Kim looked at the glowing crystal. "So this is why they won't give up easily. They need what's in our ground." "Yes," said Tarn, "but there's growing disagreement in the Coalition. Supreme Commander Vex wants to crush all human resistance and take what they need. But others like us think this approach is wrong. We believe humans should control their own planet and its resources," said Mila. "The Coalition should trade with Earth, not conquer it." Kim turned to Dr. Park and Day. "How many Coalition ships are still in Earth orbit?" 15, said Day. "But 4 are damaged from our attacks. And how many of their ground bases have we hit in the last month?" 23, reported Dr. Park. "Their forces are spread thin, trying to protect the mining operations." Kim nodded slowly. A plan was forming in his mind. "Here's what we'll do. We'll step up our attacks on the mines, not to destroy them, but to slow them down, make the invasion costly for the Coalition. At the same time," he continued, "Mila and Tarn will help us send a message to the Coalition Council. We'll offer a deal. We keep control of our planet and our beryllium, but we'll trade." 1 year had passed since the Coalition ships first appeared in Earth's skies. Much had changed in that time. The aliens no longer controlled Earth cities. They had pulled back to their main bases, mostly around mining sites where they dug for the blue crystals called beryllium. In a hidden valley that had once been a national park, the human resistance had built their new headquarters. Unlike the small bunker where they started, this base held thousands of people. Some were fighters, others were scientists, doctors, and engineers, and walking among them were nearly 100 Coalition aliens who had chosen to help the humans. Day worked in a large lab filled with alien technology. Around him, humans and friendly aliens studied the strange machines. For the past 6 months, Day had been focused on one big question. How could humans use alien tech better than the aliens themselves? Today, he thought he had the answer. Dr. Park entered the lab, followed by General Kim. They found Day sitting with his eyes closed, a thin metal band around his head. The band glowed with soft blue light. "Day," Dr. Park called. "Are you okay?" Day opened his eyes and smiled. "Better than okay, I figured it out." He took off the headband and set it on the table. "Figured what out?" asked General Kim. "Why we can use their technology in ways they never thought of," said Day. "It's not just that we're immune to their neural weapons. Our brains work differently, in all ways." He picked up the headband again. "This is a neural interface. The Coalition uses it to control their ships and systems, but they only use it in the most basic way." "What do you mean?" asked Dr. Park. "Their brains all work the same way," Day explained. "They think in patterns. When they use this interface, they think the same commands, the same way, every time. But human brains are more flexible. We can create new patterns, new ways of thinking." General Kim looked doubtful. "And this helps us how?" "I've reprogrammed 20 of these interfaces," said Day. "Our best pilots can use them to fly the Coalition ships we've captured, but they'll fly them better than any Coalition pilot ever could." "Better how?" asked General Kim. "Faster. More creative flying. Doing things the Coalition would never think to try." Day's eyes were bright with excitement. "We've always been told humans only use a small part of their brains. With these interfaces, we can use much more." Dr. Park picked up one of the headbands. "Are they safe?" "Completely," said Day. "I've tested them myself for months. They won't harm humans. In fact, they feel amazing, like your mind can suddenly reach out and touch everything around you." General Kim nodded slowly. If this works, it changes everything. We've been fighting a defensive war, hitting small targets and running away. But maybe now we can do more. There's something else, said Day. These interfaces can connect to any coalition technology, their weapons, their shields, even their communication systems. We can use all of it now. Have you told Mila and Tarn about this? Asked Dr. Park, naming their two main Valoran allies. Not yet, said Day. I wanted to show you first. General Kim thought for a moment. This could be the advantage we need, but we have to be careful how we use it. The goal is still to force the coalition to negotiate, not to destroy them completely. That night, a meeting was held in the main room of the headquarters. All the resistance leaders were there, along with Mila and Tarn. The coalition is bringing in more ships, reported Sujin, who now led a network of spies across the planet. 3 new battlecruisers arrived yesterday. They're orbiting over the southern hemisphere. They're protecting the Australian mining operations, said Tarn. That's their biggest source of beryllium now. What about our message to the coalition? Council? Asked Kim. Any response? Mila shook her head. Nothing official, but our contacts say many council members want to end the war. The cost has been too high, and the beryllium mining is going too slowly. Supreme Commander Vex is the problem, added Tarn. He refuses to admit defeat. He's told the council that he just needs more time and more ships. Then we need to show him that more ships won't help, said Kim. He turned to Day. Are your neural interfaces ready? Yes, said Day. 20 pilots are trained and ready. They can fly the 5 coalition ships we've captured. Good, said Kim. He walked to the large map on the wall. Here's the plan. We'll attack the main mining operation in Australia. Not to destroy it, but to show the coalition we can hit their most protected target whenever we want. He pointed to different spots on the map. Our ground forces will attack from these 3 points. At the same time, our ships will engage their fleet in orbit. 5 ships against their fleet? Asked Sujin. Even with better pilots, those are bad odds. We won't win by destroying their ships, said Kim. We'll win by showing them what we can do with their own technology. That's the message we need to send. Humans aren't just another species to conquer. We're different in a way that matters. Day spoke up. There's one more thing you should know. I've been working with the Coalition's communication systems. We can now broadcast a message to every Coalition ship and base at the same time. They won't be able to block it. Kim smiled. Perfect. After the attack, we'll send our message directly to every Coalition soldier and worker on and around Earth. Let them all hear what we have to offer. The meeting continued late into the night as they worked out all the details of the plan. 2 days later, General Kim stood on a hill overlooking the massive Coalition mining base in Australia. The attack had been underway for an hour. On the ground, human forces had broken through the base defenses using modified Coalition weapons. In the sky above, Coalition ships fired at each other as the human-piloted ships danced between them with impossible speed. Next to Kim stood Day, wearing one of his neural interfaces. Through it, he could see everything happening in the battle transmitted from the other interfaces. They're confused, said Day. The Coalition commanders can't understand how we're flying their ships so well. Our pilots are doing things they thought were impossible. What about casualties? Asked Kim. Minimal on both sides, said Day. We're using stun weapons mostly, just like they tried to use on us, except ours actually work. Kim nodded. That was important. This wasn't about killing. It was about sending a message. Their largest ship is falling back, reported Day. Yes, Supreme Commander Vex is on that ship. He's ordering a full retreat from the battle. Kim took a deep breath. It's time. Send the message. Day touched his neural interface, connecting to the communication system they had prepared. Ready when you are, General. Kim stood straight and looked into the small camera they had set up. He would speak directly to every Coalition member on and around Earth, from the lowest worker to Supreme Commander Vex himself. People of the Galactic Coalition, he began. I am General June Kim of Earth. Today we have shown you that your technology cannot defeat us. Not because we are stronger or more advanced, but because we are different in a fundamental way. He gestured to the human and alien allies standing behind him. Some of your people already understand this. They know that humans are not enemies, to be conquered, but a new kind of ally with unique abilities and perspectives. The camera moved to show the coalition ships retreating in the sky, and the mining operation now under human control. We don't want war, Kim continued. We want peace. We are willing to trade beryllium and share our world with the coalition, but only as equals, never as slaves. He looked directly into the camera again. You have a choice to make. Continue. A war you cannot win, or join with us as partners in building a better future for all our peoples. We await your answer. As the message ended, Kim turned to look at his team. Human and alien faces looked back at him with hope and determination. Together, they had done what no one thought possible. They had fought the mighty coalition to a standstill. Now they would find out if that was enough to bring peace. 2 weeks after the battle at the Australian mining base, Supreme Commander Vex requested a meeting with General Kim. They agreed to meet on neutral ground, a small island in the Pacific Ocean that had somehow remained untouched by the war. The island had a white sandy beach and tall palm trees. Waves gently hit the shore as 2 small ships landed, 1 human, 1 coalition. From each ship came a small group of people. General Kim was joined by Dr. Park, Day, and Sujin. Commander Vex brought 3 Valorant officers and, surprisingly, 2 members of the Coalition Council who had traveled all the way from their homeworld. The 2 groups met under a simple shelter built on the beach. For a moment, no one spoke. These people had been enemies for over a year. They had fought battles across Earth and in the space around it. Finally, Vex stepped forward. He looked older than when the invasion began. His purple skin had faded to a lighter shade, a sign of stress in Valorans. General Kim, he said formally. In the Coalition's 5,000-year history, we have encountered and brought in 53 different species from across the galaxy. Never before have we failed to complete a conquest. Kim waited silently. The Coalition Council has authorized me to offer terms, Vex continued. Not terms of your surrender, but terms of alliance. Earth would join the Coalition as a full member, with all rights and protections. Your planet's sovereignty would be recognized and protected by coalition law. One of the council members, a female Valoran with elaborate markings on her face, spoke next. We have watched your people's resistance. With great interest, General Kim. Humans have shown abilities that are unique among all species we know. What kind of alliance are you offering? Asked Kim. The council member explained. Earth would control its own resources, including all beryllium mining. The Coalition would buy beryllium through fair trade agreements. In return, Earth would gain access to Coalition technology, knowledge, and protection. And what about the damage already done? Asked Dr. Park. The cities destroyed, the people killed. The second council member, a male with deep blue skin from another Coalition species, answered. We offer our deep regrets for the conflict. The Coalition will provide technology and resources to help rebuild everything that was destroyed. Kim looked at his team. They had fought hard for this moment. We will need to discuss your offer with all of Earth's nations. This decision affects everyone on our planet. Of course, said the female council member. We would expect nothing less. We will wait for your response. As the meeting ended, Vex approached Kim privately. Your message was received by every Coalition member in this star system, he said. It caused discussions. Many of our people questioned why we were fighting a species that could be such a valuable ally. And what do you think, Commander? Asked Kim. Vex looked out at the ocean. I think I have been a soldier too long. I forgot there are other ways to bring new worlds into the Coalition. Your people reminded me of that. 1 month later, Earth's leaders gathered in a rebuilt United Nations building. Representatives from every nation sat together to hear the final terms of the alliance with the Galactic Coalition. General Kim stood with Dr. Park and Day as Earth's representatives presented the agreement. After months of fighting, after learning to use alien technology in ways the aliens themselves never imagined, humans were about to join a community of worlds spanning the galaxy. "It still feels strange," said Day quietly. "A year ago we were just trying to survive. Now we're joining a galactic civilization. We've earned our place," said Dr. Park, "not just by fighting but by showing them something new." The terms were approved by a large majority. Earth would join the coalition as an equal member. Humans would control their own planet and resources. The coalition would help rebuild what was destroyed in the war, and human scientists would work with coalition experts to share knowledge. After the vote, Kim met with Mila and Tarn, the two Valorans who had first joined the resistance. They now served as official ambassadors between Earth and the coalition. "The coalition has never changed so quickly," said Mila. "Your people have made them rethink many old ideas. The Council is especially interested in the neural interfaces, de-modified," added Tarn. "The way humans can use them so creatively could lead to many new technologies." "That's good," said Kim. "But I hope they understand that our greatest value isn't just in how our brains work differently. It's in our perspective, our way of looking at problems." "They're beginning to understand," said Mila. "That's why they want human representatives on all major coalition councils. You see things other species miss." 3 months after the peace agreement, the first official human delegation prepared to leave Earth. They would travel on a coalition ship to visit the central worlds of the alliance they had joined. Dr. Park and Day worked in their lab, studying the vast archive of knowledge the coalition had provided. The information was displayed on large screens around the room. "It's amazing," said Dr. Park, pointing to a diagram showing the genetic connections between coalition species. Every species in the coalition evolved from a common ancestor that was spread across many planets millions of years ago. "Except humans," said Day. "We evolved completely independently on Earth. No wonder our brains work so differently. That's why we were immune to their weapons," Dr. Park nodded. "And why we could adapt their technology so quickly." General Kim, now Ambassador Kim, entered the lab. He had been chosen to lead the first human delegation to coalition space. "Learning anything interesting?" he asked. "Just how special humans really are in the galactic community," said Dr. Park. "We're not just another species to them anymore. We're something they never expected to find. Our different neurobiology opens possibilities their science never considered," added Day. "The coalition scientists I've been working with are constantly surprised by how human brains work with their technology." Kim smiled. Sujin sent a message from the Australian base. "The joint mining operation is going well. Humans and coalition workers are learning from each other." "What do you think will happen when we go out there?" asked Day, looking at a star map showing coalition worlds. "Into the galaxy? I think we'll do what humans have always done," said Kim. "Adapt, learn, surprise everyone, including ourselves." As the first human ships prepared to join the coalition fleet, Ambassador Kim looked up at the stars with new understanding. Humanity's unique biology hadn't just saved Earth from conquest. It had given them a special place in a galaxy far older and stranger than they had ever imagined. The weapons that had conquered 53 other species had failed against humans. But in that failure, both humanity and the coalition had found something more valuable than conquest. A truly new perspective in a very old galaxy. "Ready for the journey?" asked Dr. Park. Kim nodded. "Ready to see what's out there. And ready to show them what humanity can do."